Packer.
Well, I think if you'd opened on the last bit, I would have preferred it. I thought it was a great joke.
I appreciate
Talking about
it.
having kids, she's pregnant. It was a great gag. I'd open on that.
Yeah.
I thought the other bit was a little bit weaker. But I liked it. The whole time I was thinking, this is what...
Jimmy Carr came back to Kill Tony this week and did something rarer than landing a roast. He made the show easier to watch. Not louder, not more chaotic, clearer. This was his third appearance in 14 months. The first has nearly 3 million YouTube views. The second has passed 5 million. And episode 778 was closing on 1 million before its first day was over. Those numbers do not prove one guest caused an episode to travel. They do explain why this return arrived with expectations. The interesting part is how Carr meets them. The pattern is simple. He finds the comic's actual premise, says what is working, cuts what is not, adds one joke, and hands the microphone back. That sounds obvious. On a panel show, it is approximately as common as a quiet bucket pull. The format makes that skill more important than it looks. The bucket randomizes the set, but the panel shapes everything after the minute. What gets investigated, what gets abandoned, and whether the interview discovers a second laugh or simply keeps digging after the comedy has left the building. So there is a practical way to test this thesis. Does the guest quote something the comic actually said? Does the response contain a note the comic could use? And once the laugh arrives, does the guest return the focus? Carr keeps answering yes. The easiest way to be memorable on Kill Tony is to turn every interview into your own set. A guest can interrupt, stack 3 roasts, and win the next 30 seconds. The comic becomes stage furniture with a pulse. Carr works in the opposite direction. On his earlier appearances, he keeps locating one detail the performer has already supplied. The funny part is not that Jimmy Carr has entered the room. The funny part is that he noticed the room. That distinction matters. A generic insult can be prepared before the show. A good panel response has fingerprints from the minute that just happened. Carr's jokes keep those fingerprints. The accent, the job, the stray phrase, the last line of the set. He is not waiting for a gap in order to deploy Jimmy Carr. He is using Jimmy Carr to explain what everyone just saw. And West is the cleanest early example. The restaurant material sounds written from the outside. Then West admits that Olive Garden is simply what he knows, and the panel finally hears a person instead of a menu. Carr marks that line immediately.
Wow. That's the funniest shit you said about Olive Garden. That's fucking. That's very funny.
Yeah. Feels real.
I don't know.
I think you're a comedic actor. I think you've got a face, you've got a look. Just when you walked out, I felt like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I think you're very funny.
Thanks.
But I think it's like someone else's writing. I think you could bring it to life. I think you really got something. And maybe it's not stand-up, maybe it's sketch, maybe it's something else. But there's something very special about you. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Then he goes one step further. He suggests the performer's face, presence, and delivery may fit sketch or comic acting better than standard stand-up. That is not a softer version of you, we're bad. It is a diagnosis of where the visible strength might actually work. That is why the Andrew Packer exchange is a better example than the biggest laugh of the night. Carr does not just say the set was good. He identifies the closer, moves it to the opening, and labels the earlier section weaker. In about 11 seconds, the performer gets a note he can test at the next show. Open with a clean premise. Remove the runway. Keep the surprise. It is criticism, but it comes with assembly instructions. That is the difference between judging and coaching. Saying, I did not like it, only reports the guest's mood. Saying, start here, changes the next draft. One creates a reaction clip. The other might create a better comedian. Economy matters too. Carr's useful note begins after Tony's question and lands before the conversation can wander into a new topic. 13 seconds, one reorder, one quality judgment, then a handoff. The note is short because the idea is clear, not because the guest has nothing to say. Episode 778 keeps testing that method. Isaac Kane Brown is visibly nervous, asks to leave, and has just used race in a joke Carr thinks did not earn it.
Whose autistic child are you?
Stemming, what you're seeing right here is him stemming.
Okay, leave the last joke to one side.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're gonna do something that touches on race, be super fucking funny.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put that to one side. The rest of it I really liked.
Yeah.
Oh,
You seem great, man.
Oh, thank
Kind
you.
of very individual voice and kind of weird and wonderful and surreal. Yeah.
You asked whose autistic child I was. My brother is the autistic one. I was just homeschooled.
Notice the order. Carr isolates the bad choice, gives the standard, then tells the comic exactly what he should keep. He does not pretend the joke worked. He also does not treat one bad joke as a complete personality diagnosis, and the proof is what happens next. Once the room gives Isaac a little space, he answers with the cleanest line of the interview. Carr does not claim it. He says perfect and lets the comic have the laugh. That handoff is the whole thesis in one word. There is a limit to what the clip proves. We do not know whether Isaac rewrites the joke or whether the next set improves. What we can see is the panel creating the conditions for a better answer in real time, a boundary, a useful compliment, and enough quiet for the performer to respond. A useful guest also knows when the format has stopped producing anything. Late in the show, John Sheeran's interview is sliding from awkward into uncomfortable.
Jimmy.
I feel like we're 2 questions away from lynching this guy.
Yeah. Did you ever fall?
Carr names the temperature and the conversation moves. That is not a grand moral stand. It is stage management with a punchline attached. The joke closes the door without stopping the show to deliver a speech about the door. This is also why his restraint matters. He can be brutal, but the target is usually the live dynamic, the weak premise, the strange answer, the tension everyone can already see. When the room changes, he changes with it. None of this turns Carr into the gentle school counselor of roast comedy. His first line to Isaac is savage, and plenty of his jokes are designed only to hit. The point is not that every line is instruction. The point is that he can tell when the show needs a hit, a note, or an exit, and those are different jobs. Then Pat O'Neill closes the night. Carr is seeing him for the first time, and Tony asks one of the world's most established joke writers for a verdict.
Over a decade.
It's banger after banger after banger. Not only great jokes, but perfect delivery. It's a joy to watch.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
just
What the
perfect.
fuck? Thank you.
Oh, you bring it. You bring it. I love it on this show when someone's done the work. Like the amount of work that went into that set. The amount of gags. Because you could have floated by on 2 of those. And there was 4 great jokes. Like one after the other. Perfect delivery. Your whole persona is it's just on point. I love it.
Thank you, sir.
This could have been 20 seconds of celebrity approval. Instead, Carr lists the evidence. 4 real jokes where 2 could have survived. Clean delivery, a coherent persona, and visible work. Specific praise is useful because it tells the audience what they felt and tells the comic what to repeat. It is the positive version of start with the last bit. The note is different. The method is identical. Pat's set also reveals why Carr's standards feel consistent. Earlier, a risky idea needed to be much funnier. Here, 4 constructed jokes, controlled delivery, and a clear persona earn unqualified praise. The standard is not kindness. The standard is whether the choices produce the intended result. Carr's previous visit with Andrew Santino already showed the same economy: observe one precise detail, add the shortest useful line, and return the focus. The new episode matters because it repeats the pattern across a completely different room. 1 great appearance can be chemistry. 3 appearances reveal a working method. Carr treats Kill Tony less like a roast where the guest must win, and more like a live writer's room where the raw material is walking around with a microphone. The view totals remain context, not causation. Jimmy Carr did not personally click 5 million browser tabs, and every episode has different comics, guests, and moments. What repeats across the 3 appearances is observable behavior, precise listening, compact feedback, and a reliable handoff after the laugh. So, is Jimmy Carr the perfect Kill Tony guest? Perfect is packaging, not a measurement, but the case is unusually strong. This argument is about what the published episodes show, not what happened after the cameras stopped. We cannot know which notes were adopted, how the performers felt later, or whether Carr planned any line in advance. The supported claim is narrower and more useful. His on-stage responses repeatedly make the material more legible. He listens before he attacks. He makes notes specific enough to use. He can separate a failed joke from a promising comic. He recognizes when tension needs an exit. And when the set is excellent, he can explain why without stapling himself to it. The bucket determines who walks on stage. The panel determines whether that person leaves as a clip, a casualty, or a better comic. Carr keeps choosing the third option, and somehow still gets the clip. If Punchline Vault should break down another guest's panel style, leave the name below. Until then, the best compliment for Jimmy Carr's return is the shortest one. He got the joke, gave it back, and kept the show moving.